Hare Krishna. Guruve Gaurachanda Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. So, for some reason, having some problem with my computer. Don't know what's going on. So, I'll try it by holding my phone for 1 hour. Let's see, is the sound okay? If sound's okay, someone can give a message. So, yes, so for 15 minutes I've been trying to do that. So first of all, I give pranams to our Gurudev, Om Vishnupad, Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj, our Rupanuga Guru Vargas, all devotees. Dandavat pranams. Okay, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, so chapter 34 of Jaiva-Dharma. Not so easy to understand, but just we should know that even in the spiritual world there is higher and lower, there is senior and junior. Even when you achieve perfection, that will still be there. That is the essence of this 34 different categories of Sakhis. Okay, so anyway, if we don't understand, not too much problem, because where are these topics and where are we? So, the next day Vijay, he took prasad, and as he was walking towards Radhakanta Mat, then he saw the ocean. The ocean gave so much remembrance of his position. Oh, he thought, Krishna is like an ocean of ras, he is like the ocean. The waves with their white crest, is it like Radhika? No. And anyway, like this, everything, and these waves, like so many emotions of the gopis coming and going. And the little specks of water pouring here, and the little particles of water being splashed, that is like me. I'm a tiny follower, paricharak, of these pastimes of Radha Krishna. In this way he felt great happiness in his own thoughts. Then he came and did pranam to Gopal Guru Goswami, and he asked again, I want to thoroughly understand the different categories of Sakhis so that I may become their follower. Okay. Plate is there. So Vijay said it is beyond the capability of any jiva to understand this or describe it. But because I followed the Anugati of Rupa Goswami, then something I know. So the Sakhis, my main thing here, Radha Krishna have so much faith on them. Because they're giving them such a big position in their lila. And they never misuse that faith. They are the storehouse of the trust of Braja Yuga. And only one who is very fortunate has the desire to know clearly the elaborate considerations concerning the different Sakhis. We heard already that the three divisions, Adik, Sama and Lagu, in terms of their position. Adik means excessive, Sama means similar, Lagu means lightweight. Of course, we're using this language, but still we have material conception of this. Also, there are three types: Prakar, Madhya, and Mridu. Mridavi, soft, medium, and hard. Okay. So these all gradations exist within one group, within one yuta. Okay. Some have greater qualities than others, they are called adik. Some are equal in qualities, they are called sam. And some are called lagu, less endowed with qualities. Of course, what's less than infinity is still infinity. We should understand like that. No? A Sakhi whose order is not easily transgressed, that is called prakar. She has very much gravity. A Sakhi who lacks gravity is called mridavi. And one who has an average amount of gravity, like seriousness, controlling power, that is called a madhya. Okay, so in one group, the Yuteshwari, she is called Atyantik Adik. She has the greatest qualities. So each Yuta has one leader, Yuteshwari. And everyone else in the group will be of those other types. So they must be less than her, no? So the Atyantik Adik Yuteshwaris are the most prominent Sakhis in their groups. There are three types: Atyanta Adik Prakar, Atyanta Adik Prakar, Atyantik Adik Madhyam, Atyantik Adik Mridavi. These are different types of Yuteshwaris. Okay, so only the Yuteshwaris are Atyantik Adik Prakar, the leaders. You know, unlimitedly great. And all the other group members are classified as Apekshita Adik, Apekshita Sam, Apekshita Lagu. Apekshita means in comparison. So compared to the leader, the Yuteshwaris, everyone else is relatively great, relatively equal, and relatively unimportant. So therefore 3 times 3 means 9. 9 types of group gopis in one group. There Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives the names there, page 699. There are also 2 types of Atyantik Lagu. Atyantik Lagu and Samalagu. Therefore 9 plus 11, including the Yuteshwari, the group leader herself. That means there are 12 types of Nayakas, 12 types of ladies in one group. And there are millions and millions of groups. So, I want to hear about the most famous Sakhis. Okay, so in the Yut of Sirada, Radharani is the Yuteshwaris. And the other Astasakhis, they have the qualities of Yuteshwaris, they can be independent Nayakas, but they're so much enchanted by Radharani's mood, they prefer to assist her like Sakhi. Okay, so just general translation, Nayaka means the gopi who will have direct relation with Krishna, and Sakhi means assistant. Okay, so the Sakhis headed by Lalita are in the category of Apekshita Adik Prakar. Right. The Sakhis headed by Vishaka are Apekshita Adik Madhya, and Chitra and Madhuri are Apekshita Adik Mridavi. So even in perfected gopis, there's still gradation. In comparison with Radhika, the Astasakhis headed by Lalita are called Apekshita Lagu, relatively unimportant. Okay. How many types of Apekshita Lagu Prakar Sakhis are there? Right, there's 12 types of Sakhis in one group. Anyway, so I think you can read it. Okay, we might as well go. There are 2 types of Lagu Prakar Sakhi, left wing and right wing. Right? Bhamya means unsubmissive mood, and Dakshin means submissive. So even in Radhika's group, there's 2 types of gopis: those who are gentle and pleasing to Krishna by their speech and activities, and those who are not so, but still they give happiness to Krishna. Okay, so the Bhamyas, Bhamya Bhav, they are always eager to accept honor. They become angry when there is any laxity in respect. They are not easily controlled by Krishna. Such Nayakas are called Bhamya Bhav. Such Sakhis in Radharani's youth group Sakhis like Lalita are Bhamya Bhav. Bhamya Prakar. Prakar means type. Bhamya Prakar. And who are the Dakshin? So the Nayaka, the lady hero who has no man, who is honest and expresses herself with simple language, and becomes submissive to the sweet words of the Nayakas, is called Dakshin. Dakshin means favorable, unsubmissive. So Tunga Vidya is called Dakshin Prakar. Even in Radharani's group, there's Bhamya and Dakshin, submissive and unsubmissive. All type of taste, all type of variety, these give happiness to Krishna. Okay. Who are Atyantik Lagu, relatively unimportant. Sakhis such as Kusmika are Lagus because they are very gentle in their behavior to Krishna. Okay. And they are insignificant in comparison to the other Sakhis. When the Sakhis act as messengers, what do? Okay. So when the Sakhis, I think we already mentioned the 5 types of Sakhis, or that will come up. So when the Sakhis act as messengers, that time they never betray the faith of their Nayaka, of the Nayaka. Okay. So can the Sakhis be Nayakas? Sakhis here means assistants. Can the assistant gopis also be heroines, Nayakas? So only here it says the Uteshwaris are the Nayakas, those searching directly for Krishna. And the 3 types, the Apekshita Adik Prakar, Apekshita Adik Madhya, and Apekshita Adik Mridivi Sakhis, they have the nature of both Nayaka and Sakhi. They are Nayakas in relation to those who are Lagu, and Sakhis in relation to those who are Adik. Right? So those gopis who are senior to them, then they take the position of Sakhis like assistant servants, and to those, and when they have superior qualities to another gopi, then they become Nayakas, and those inferior gopis, okay, who's inferior? But anyway, language is there. Then those inferior gopis become the Sakhis, and that middle situated one gopi becomes the Nayak. Okay. So they are called almost heroines, Nayak Praya. Okay. Some example we all know is like Lalita herself. You know, she assists Radhika in meeting to Krishna, but also she meets herself, so she falls in this category. These 3, Apekshita Adik, Apekshita Prakar, and Apekshita Mridavi. Okay. Apekshita Sam and Madhya and Mridavi, they are known as Dvisama. They have Sakhis to those who are Adik and Nayak to those who are Lagu. Same thing, same. Right. Anyway, he's just explaining the same thing here. So who are the messengers amongst the Sakhis? Who are the duties? The Uteshwaris are eternally Nayakas. We heard again and again Bhaktivinoda Thakur giving that idea. Radharani, for example, is always the Nayak. They never act as duties, as messengers, because they are the object of respect of the gopis. So the Uteshwaris, like Chandravali, like Radhika, like this, they never become messengers for another gopi. But the other gopis can become messengers for them. The Uteshwari engages the Sakhi who is dearest to her in her group as a messenger, as a duty. Sometimes the Uteshwari also performs the activity of a duty in a secondary capacity for her Sakhi because of that Sakhi's love for her. Sometimes Radhika also can act as a messenger for Lalita, but that is only because of her affection for Lalita. All the activities of a messenger, except for coming and going to distant places, are secondary. Sometimes they give a message right before Krishna's eyes, and sometimes indirectly. How many types of messages are in Krishna's presence? There are 2 times, hints or signals and verbal messages. Okay. Sometimes they give a message to Krishna by glance, by a wink, a movement of the eyebrows and gestures. This is called sanketika. Sanket means to indicate. In the form of a hint or signal, and sometimes it's by speech, that is called vachik. Okay. A vachik messenger are those that are communicated by when the Sakhis speak amongst themselves directly before Krishna. Right? So they give some indirect message when they're speaking to Krishna, but speaking amongst themselves. And sometimes Krishna is not there, then they send a message. Okay. When three type of Sakhis, okay. Anyway, so it's going on like that. Just describing here, what is a Nitya Sakhi, right? We already heard about the 5 type of Radhika Sakhi. For some reason we have not talked about it, right? But it's here. 5 type of Radhika Sakhi. So the Nitya Sakhis. The Nitya Sakhis are those who want to be Sakhis and not Nayakas. They want to be servants of the Yuteshwari. They don't want to meet with Krishna. Okay? I think these are the Manjaris. The Nitya Sakhis and the Pran Sakhis are Manjaris. So the Nitya Sakhis are those who only want to be Sakhis and not Nayakas. There are 2 types of Nitya Sakhis, Adyantika Lagu and Apekshita Lagu. Least significant and relatively unimportant. Okay. So Sakhis can manifest different moods at different times. And Vijay says sometimes it seems that Radharani arranges for the Sakhis to meet with Krishna. Yes, there is a mystery in that. When a Sakhi goes to meet with Krishna when she's giving a message, that time even if Krishna wants, they will not meet. But Radharani feels happiness also when her Sakhis meet with Krishna. We discussed that 2-3 weeks ago when Ramananda Roy was discussing with Mahaprabhu. When the Sakhis assist the Yuteshwari to meet with Krishna that time, the Sakhis feel happiness millions of times more than the Yuteshwari. Just like if Radharani is the divine creeper of Prema, then all her Sakhis are like twigs, leaves, flowers on that creeper. So when water is given to the creeper, then the flowers and twigs and leaves feel so much happiness, more than directly if the water is given to them. So when the Sakhis assist the meeting of Radha Krishna, the Sakhis feel millions of times more happiness even than the gopi who is meeting with Krishna. But it said also, Ramananda Roy described that when Radharani arranges Krishna to meet her Sakhi, that time Radharani feels a happiness millions of times more. Okay. But when they act as messengers, that time they never. Otherwise, it's like betraying Radhika. So what are the activities of the Sakhis? 5 types of Sakhis of Radhika. The Paramprasht, the Nitya Sakhis, the Pran Sakhis. What are the others? Paramprashta, Nitya Sakhi, Pran Sakhi. Like that. 5 types of Sakhis. So what are the activities of the Sakhis? 16 activities they have. They describe the glories of Krishna to Radhika and the glories of Radhika to Krishna. Here the word Nayaka and Nayak. No? But I'm just using Radha Krishna here. No? Because each Yuteshwari, like Chandravali, has her Sakhis also. So when they meet with Krishna, they describe the glories of Chandravali to Krishna and vice versa. So there's 16 activities of the Sakhis, describing the glories of Krishna to Radhika, describing the glories of Radhika to Krishna. Number 2, increasing their mutual attachment for one another. 3, arranging their meeting. 4, bringing one Sakhi and offering her to Krishna. Like if you read Sankalpa Kalpadrum, they're Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says the manjaris, and they put in Krishna's hand like that, and Radharani chastise them, but inside they feel very happy. So bringing one Sakhi and offering her to Krishna. 5, making jokes. If you read these books, no Sankalpa Kalpa Dhruvam, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Rupa Goswami also wrote another similar one. There also how much the manjari is also joking to help the meeting of Radha and Krishna. Giving consolation, excuse me, giving consolation, dressing and decorating each other, Radha and Krishna, expressing the heartfelt sentiments of the Nayak before the Nayaka and vice versa. Because Radha Krishna, the nature of Prema, they not express love openly, so the Sakhis will express their love. Expertly hiding their faults and blunders. Giving instructions on how to cheat the husband and other relatives. Arranging for the Nayak and Nayaka to meet at the appropriate time. How much responsibility they have. This is seva. Rendering services such as fanning with chama. Reproaching and neglecting the Nayak or the Nayaka as necessary in special circumstances. 14, sending messages. 15, protecting the life of the Nayaka in separation. 16, exercising extreme care and diligence in all matters. Goodness me, yes, we are quite, in regards to service, we are not diligent or careful. Anyway, these are 16 activities of the Sakhis. So Prabhu said, yes, I will study Ujjvala Nilamani and understand all of these things. Therefore, Ujjvala Nilamani, composed by Rupa Goswami specifically for those in Madhura-rasa. Actually, it was an astonishing thing they said the other day. Unless one studies Ujjvala Nilamani, he cannot understand the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, one day Gurudev translated that to Hindi. Anyway, we should not be lazy. So, now I want to know about the great prem the Sakhis have for Krishna and that the Sakhis have for each other. Hare Krishna. Yes. There are 2 types. Okay, some reason I seem to be missing some section. I don't think I've missed it, but anyway, maybe must have spoken about the other day, right? So, each group, each Yuteshwari will have some groups who are favorable, some groups who are like neutral, some groups who are like friendly, and some groups who are against. So the rest of the chapter is discussing this. Then there's ras, then there's taste. Right? If everyone had the same mood, right? If every day you just have the same thing to eat, no taste. So variety produces astonishment, and then ras is there. So there's like transcendental competition. Of course, in a higher sense, there's no clash, because everyone is trying hard only for the enjoyment of Krishna. Okay. So, Swapaksh. Swapaksh means gopis in the same mood, same group, same inclination, same mood. For example, in Radharani's group, everyone is Swapaksh. Everyone is her own person. In Chandravali's group, then all those gopis in Chandravali's group, they will be Swapaksh, all working for the happiness of Chandravali, for example. Okay, and there are millions and millions of groups. So everyone is in transcendental competition, ultimately for the happiness of Krishna. So this competition is sweet, and it's based on prema, right? Not like this world. Therefore, as a sadhak, we shouldn't be too much concerned with all these different groups. For example, in Braj-Vilas Thav, Raghunath Goswami gives pranam to Chandravali. He gives pranam to Jatila and Kutila. Why? Because they are the Nityasiddhas, no? and we are the practicing devotees. So we beg their mercy to achieve perfection. Right? So we should not make mistake as sadhaks to neglect or give too much importance to these groups. No? So there are two kinds of swapaksh Sakhis. Those who have affection for Krishna is the same as their affection for the Yuteshwari. They're called samasneha. And there are some called asamasneha. They have more affection for Krishna or more affection for Radhika. Okay. Who are the Sakhis who have asamasneha? Who have not equal love for Radha Krishna. They like Krishna more, they like Radhika more. There are two types. Some have more affection for the Yuteshwari than for Krishna, while others have more affection for Krishna than Radhika. They think I am the maidservant of Krishna. They do not mix with other groups. They have complete affection for the Yuteshwari, but still they have more affection for Krishna. Alternatively, those Sakhis who think I am the maidservant of my Sakhi, they have more affection for their Sakhi than for Krishna, are called Sakhi Adik Sneha, like the Manjaris, for example. They love Krishna, no, but they have, at the end of the day, a little more extra they have for Radhika. Okay. Right, so everyone remembering this? The swapaksh is two types. Those have equal love for the Nayak and the Nayaka, they're called samasneha, and some are called asamasneha, they have more affection for one than the other. Okay, right. There are 5 types of affections, and those who have more affection for Krishna are called Krishna Sneha Adik. Easy. And they are simply called Sakhi. The Pran Sakhis and Nitya Sakhis are both Sakhi Sneha Adik. They have more affection for their Sakhi, right? We already explained the Pran Sakhis and the Nitya Sakhis, these are the Manjaris. They have, at the end of the day, everything is for Radhika. Who are the Samasneha Sakhis? Those who have equal affection for both Krishna and the Yuteshwari, they are called Samasneha. Who are the best amongst them? The best of those who consider themselves both Radharani's nearest and dearest, although they love both Krishna and Radhika equally, are called the Priya Sakhis and the Paramprashta Sakhis. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, Paramprashta Sakhis are the Asta Sakhis. So, if you look in Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Ujjwal Nilamani Kiran, the humble servant translated that into English, there's a little more clear all these little groups. Because how much Bhaktivinoda Thakur can give in one chapter, no? So, please explain the divisions between swapaksh and pratipaksh. Pratipaksh also, I think we are more used to the term vipaksh. Vipaksh means against group. So, if Radharani is your swapaksh, then Chandravali, for example, becomes your vipaksh. If you're in the group of Chandravali, then that group is swapaksh, and Radhika's group becomes your against party or vipaksh. Okay, so here it is. Yes, we didn't miss it. It's here. All the Braj Sundaris, all the Braj Gopis are divided into 4 categories. Swapaksh, Suditpaksh, Tatastapaksh, and Pratipaksh. Pratipaksh means vipaksh. So 4 groups. Yes. So each group will be called swapaksh, and then other groups will be seen according to the other 3 divisions, according to their relationship with your group. Okay. Not like a mundane example, like Krishna Balaram, that is our temple, that is our swapaksh, and all other, like Gaudiya Maths and everything, okay, respect at the end of the day, but still some groups were more close to our Gurudev, some other Vaishnavas, other Guru will be more close, more affectionate, right? And anyway, this is some mundane example, no? Many mundane examples we can give, like, for example, we have Christmas reunion, and there's so many uncles and aunties, some are more close, some are like against, but at the end of the day, they're all family. Okay, so Bhaktivinoda Thakur afterwards will explain all this in a more detailed manner so that no material conception should come amongst all of these things. Okay. So all the gopis are divided into 4 groups. Swapaksh, own group. Surit Paksh, well-wishing group. Tatastha Paksh means neutral. Here neutral means because they're friends with an enemy group. They're called Tatast. And last is Vipaksh or Pratipaksh, means against. So all groups are one of those four, divided into four categories. So here, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, so the favorable groups, Surit Paksh and Tatast, we are not speaking here, because the real taste, the real distinction is the Swapaksh and the Vipaksh. This gives rise to taste, to variety. Right? Like someone who loves you very much, when you meet them you get one taste, and someone who hates you a lot, when you meet them is also something there, special. Okay, for example, when we see Vichitra in the street, also one feeling comes, the other special feeling. So, please describe the Swapaksh and the Vipaksh in detail. It's page 705. I've already explained everything, almost everything in relation to Swapaksh. Now I'll explain the different groups such as Paksh. The Surit Paksh, Surit here means friendly or well-wisher. Surit means like, easy way to understand, remember, Rit means heart. Surit, with heart. So well-wishes, Surit Paksh. Also two types of Surit Paksh, Ishtas, Adik, and Anishtas, Adik. Those who accomplish the desirable and those who accomplish the undesirable. Okay, if you read Ujjvala Nilamani, there will be examples there. Those who are friendly towards a rival party are called Tatastha. Actually, I remember reading this, I become astonished. Because we say Tatastha means neutral. But here, the definition of neutral, those who are friendly towards a rival party are called Tatastha. Means that type of person likes you, but they also like your enemies. So therefore we call them neutral. When I first came to the temple, not first, but after 2-3 weeks, I came to Gurudev in Mathura, then we stayed like 10 days. Then Gurudev went to Navadvip for Navadvip Parikram 1996. Then I went there also to Navadvip. So, not taking initiation yet. Then in Navadvip, many people were coming, because Gaudiya Maharaj had just left, and they were coming to meet with Gurudev. Then afterwards, Gurudev, after they met and left, then Gurudev said to me, don't be neutral. Don't be neutral. Neutrality has no place in devotion. Because the reason I was speaking now is because I saw many of these disciples of Gaudiya Maharaj, they wanted to stay in ISKCON, but the problem is the leaders of ISKCON were fully against their Gurudev. So Gurudev, but still they wanted to be in that type of association, in that society. So I think now I understand why Gurudev said don't be neutral, because generally we think neutral is a very good quality, but actually being neutral is not a good quality. It means you're friendly with those who are against. So don't be neutral. Neutrality has no place in devotion, Gurudev said to me. And he said, you have to give your head. Give your head. Neutrality has no place in devotion. Can you give your head for sadhusana? So actually we cannot be neutral. We have to be here. We have to be there. Okay. So tell me about Vipaksh, against. The rival party are those who are inimical and who perform antagonistic activities, such as destroying what is desirable and promoting what is undesirable. Okay? Okay, Shamala, don't be late for class again. These Vipaksh Sakhis exhibit a host of moods, including trickery, spite, restlessness, jealousy, hostility, grief, and pride. Of course, these are all transcendental qualities, and they're doing for their Yuteshwari, so it's not a fault. Pride is exhibited in 6 ways: egotism, abhiman, ostentatiousness, smugness, arrogance, conceit, and audhatya, haughtiness. Audatya. Okay. So we hear these are all bad qualities generally. Okay. But in spiritual life all is good. So these things give taste, variety. Right? Even this world. Like ISKCON would preach so much against Gurudev, Gurudev would laugh. They are doing millions of rupees of preaching for me. Means in this world, if you want to preach, you have to spend money, right? You have to print books, you have to do television programs, flyers, you have to fly here and there, right? So Gurudev said they're doing millions of dollars worth of preaching for me. Means they're speaking my name and they're preaching. So the against party also is necessary. Okay, what does egoism mean in this context? Ahankara involves criticizing another group while glorifying the virtues of one's own group. Like Radharani's group, speak badly about Chandravali's group. This gives one bliss, one happiness. But still this is all done with affection. Right? Because Vrindavan is Prem Bhumi. There everyone's body is made of prema. So we should not misunderstand. Sometimes we also think Guru Vaishnava act out of anger or malice. Malice. Is that even a word? Okay. But no, actually, because they're made of prema. So it just seems like that. And what is the purport of Abhiman? They use moods and postures to show the superiority of one's own party. This is called ostentatiousness or Abhiman. What is Darpa? Smugness is the pride that indicates the superiority of one's enjoyment of pastimes. And every group feeling this. Now that is the astonishing function of Yogamaya. Everyone feeling all these things. My group is the best, my Yuteshwari, she is supreme, like this. What is arrogance? Directly laughing at the rival party. One example. For example, when it's described in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, when Gopakumar finally, right, he entered Nitya Lila. Then he went for breakfast for the first time with Krishna and all the friends. Then Radharani had made a special laddu called a Manuha laddu. So that was given to Krishna. When Krishna bit it, and he made a face like this, as if that laddu was very bad. And he threw it to the new Sakha who ate it, and he thought, my God, this nectar, this laddu tastes like nectar. So while this was going on, then Chandravali's group felt so much happiness when they saw that. No? Oh, Radharani burnt a laddu, Radharani made something bad. So when Krishna did that, when Chandravali's group felt so much bliss, so much happiness, and Radharani's group felt some despondency, like this. So Krishna was churning all these feelings in the heart of everyone. Okay, so what is Mad? Mad means conceit. Is the pride that enhances the excellence of service. Haughtiness is openly declaring one's superiority. The Sakhis' double-edged taunting and depreciation of others are example of this type of pride. Do the Utesharis themselves exhibit jealousy? No, they are grave. They do not manifest it directly. Okay. So, here comes the question. The Utesharis in Braj Leela are eternally perfect. They are all the energies of Krishna, the millions and millions of different Utesharis, all are the potency of Bhagavan, right? So what is the significance of bhavs such as envy, right, pride, all these things we're hearing about, conceit, arrogance, smugness? How there can be enmity there? All are the potency of Krishna. Right? There should be perfect harmony. When the worldly logicians and empiricists who are averse to Krishna see all this, they disrespect the principle of Braja-rasa, of Braja-lila, and they make fun of it. They say, come on, if in the spiritual world, in the stage of perfection, there's malice and all these things, then why criticize envy and all these things in the material world? He said also, I reside in Navadvip Dham. Also in Navadvip you find all type of materialistic people. Right? There are staunch followers of Karmakand, most of them find fault with Krishna's pastimes. Right, in Navadvip you go, many people eating fish, many people eating chicken, most people eating goat. So Brajanath, Vijay asking, they're in the holy dham, but they neglect it. They neglect this lila, thinking it's the product of illusion, of Maya. Please clarify this. No? So only those, Goswami gives a big answer here. Okay, so how long have I been speaking for? So I think this answer you can read at your own leisure. Okay, let's motor through it, it's okay. Okay. If we reflect deeply on this matter, we find that Krishna destroys all sins. He is also more enchanting than millions of cupids. His Priyanama Sakhis, Sringhar-ras, his Priyanama Sakha, Krishna's dear friend, is Sringhar-ras. And it's fully manifest in Braj. This Sringhar-ras, in order to satisfy Krishna, incites jealousy and all related sentiments amongst the rival groups. However, in reality there is no jealousy between them. Their apparently inimical moods are nothing but a transformation of affection. Right? Chandravali and Radhika, Chandravali is Radharani, Radharani is Chandravali, Chandravali is Radhika's direct expansion. How there can be difference there? And Radharani is made of Mahabhav, then the expansion of Radhika will not be less, no? So this enmity and everything we see is a transformation of prema. Vijay said, I am an ordinary person, such transcendental topics do not manifest in my heart easily. Please explain it clearly so that I can become blessed. Gopal Guru Goswami says, Prem Ras is the ocean of milk. But when that milk is mixed with urine or anything else, it becomes spoiled. It is not appropriate to apply philosophical considerations of tattva in the context of prema ras. Right? Logic, argument, all these things. They have their place, but they have no jurisdiction in the kingdom of prema. Prema is its own separate department. So don't mix mundane logic, right and wrong. You can't use these things to understand them. On one hand, Bhakti Devi illuminates the hearts of the devotees with Chit and Ladini, that is Bhav Bhakti, in the hearts of those sadhaks who have a mountain of Sukriti. Then they can easily realize all Siddhanta without using logic at all. On the other hand, people who do not take shelter of Bhakti cannot understand anything even though hearing again and again. The application of false and misguided logic only gives rise to more false and misguided logic. Right? However, Vijay, you are very fortunate. You took direct shelter of Bhakti Devi, and by her mercy you understand everything. But still you are inquiring just to fortify your understanding of Siddhanta. Therefore, Vijay, you are not a logician, you are not a follower of Karmakand or Gyan or Gyanakand. You are not excessively devoted to the rules and regulations of Vidhi Bhakti. I have no objection to telling you about any Siddhanta. Okay, so there are two types of inquisitive person. One who makes inquiries taking shelter of dry logic, and the other one who has faith in Bhakti. Yeah? You should never reply to the arguments of the dry logicians. Their power of reasoning is confined to the realm of mind. Their intelligence therefore cannot begin to enter into that which is achintya or inconceivable. Right? Actually, that's one thing. So many, when we practice spiritual life in the association of high-class devotees, many things happen in our relationships we cannot understand. That time, don't use too much logic and argument, right and wrong, good and bad. Just forget it. Just leave it. because many things are not conceivable for us now. Even if we do something we have not, sometimes Gurudev would say, we are being accused of something we have not done. Guru Maharaj said that means if they say in the future you will do it, or in a previous life you did it and got away with it. This way we can reconcile. So don't try to measure the behavior of Guru and Vaishnava by our own mundane logic and everything. It won't work. What to speak of Krishna Lila there in Golok Vrindavan. So, ultimately mental speculation only diminishes whatever feeble trace of conviction one has in Ishvara. Why is this? Why, if there's spiritual world is perfect, why there's envy, why there's jealousy, why there's pride? Just forget that. If you think like that, then your faith in Bhagavan will diminish and ultimately disappear. There are even those who have a Sadguru. Still very few will understand this properly, this Sringhara-rasa. Like our Gurudev, thousands of disciples, where are they? Most disappeared, no? So only having Sadguru is not enough. One also should be proper and qualified disciple. Okay. Actually, how unprecedented Ras this Brajalila is. It appears to be of this world, but it's of complete opposite nature. Therefore, by hearing this Brajalila, one can become free from lust. What is lust? Lust is there because of identification with the body of a male or female. And those who take shelter of the subtle body by accepting identity consisting of desires pertaining to the mind, right? We think I'm a man, therefore I have this desire for a woman, I have desire for money. No, so we should not identify with the gross body or the subtle body which is made of desire. No? Okay, grammar is very late, don't be late. Okay, so the gross body made of 7 dhatus, skin, right, meat, muscle, blood, fat, semen, like the 7 dhatus make the gross body, and the subtle body made by desire. So both we have to give up. Okay, this last is not there, not easy to dispel. Only one medicine is continuous cultivation and endeavors and moods in pursuit of Braj Lila. No other shelter, no other remedy. No matter what your condition, always keep hitting kata. Always keep thinking, always keep reading, always keep chanting. Don't give up. If you give up the cultivation of Braj Lila, then lust will capture your intelligence. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the eternal enemy of this soul is what? Lust, which covers the intelligence of the soul and burns like fire and is not satisfied. So no other remedy for lust, but don't give up cultivation of Krishna's name, form, qualities, pastimes and kata. Okay, don't give up. Because this lust is very powerful, like a fire. If you give some fuel to the fire, it just burns more and more and more, sense gratification. So, in this Siddhanta, especially in Sadhu Sang, we find because Sadhu restricts so much our enjoyment, our sense gratification. We are put in the fire of their association and beaten on the anvil of material existence. By that we become purified. So, always cultivate this Braj Lila. You will also, by doing this, you will realize that Nivashesh Brahma impersonalism is useless, and insignificant, and this Sringarasa exists eternally and most brilliantly, fully and perfectly in the transcendental world. Okay? The glories of Sringarasa unsurpassed. There is highly condensed bliss. There is no impersonal happiness in this. There is also no material happiness. It's a different type of happiness. Therefore, to get that, we'll have to sacrifice the lower things in this world, right? The Sringarasa is the embodiment of complete happiness. And in order to achieve the completion of Ras, then what type of sadhana we're going to have to do? A very high grade of sadhana. to achieve that. So don't give up. Why did it become perfect after 3 weeks of chanting Harinam? It's not like that. Maybe many lifetimes we'll have to give to achieve it. No? Okay, so beautiful anyway, you can read. I don't want to go too late. What is the necessity for Swapaksh and Vipaksh? What's the necessity? So actually competition only comes when there's equality. When the bhavs of two nayakas are equal, then rivalry comes. Friendship and hostility naturally arises. Okay. So anyway, so he described this. Oh Prabhu, he said, by hearing this, whatever small doubt I had, I give up. And here's a nice little summary Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives here of the last 3-4 chapters. So just be patient. Okay. I fully understood Alamban, the object and abode of Ras. Remember, 3-4 chapters ago? In regard to the Vibhava Madhura-rasa. Sachidananda Krishna, whose body is made of eternality, knowledge and bliss, is the one and only male, the one and only Nayak. He is the object, the Visaya Vigraha. I am meditating upon his qualities, form and activities. This Krishna has the 4 moods, the 4 temperaments of Dhirodat, Dhir Lalit, Dhir Shant and Dhirodhat. He eternally performs his lila as Nayak in the roles of Pati, husband and Upapati, unmarried. As Upapati Bhav, he has four other moods. Anukul, faithful, Dakshin, sincere, Sat, cheating, and Drist, reckless and bold cheater. He is always served by friends, right? Remember the 5 types of Krishna's assistants? He is always served by friends who arrange his meeting, the Chetaks, who dress him, the Betas, who make jokes, the Vidusaks, who dress him, the Pitamardanas, right? Who massage him, the Pitamardaks, and his intimate friend, the Priyanama Sakhis. He is fond of playing the Bamsi, that's his messenger. Today Krishna has appeared on my heart as the Visaya of Ras. How Bhaktivinoda Thakur, 4 or 5 chapters he can put in one paragraph. Okay, to understand Krishna is not too much hard, but to understand the different gopis, that is a little more difficult. At the same time, I have understood how the beautiful young women of Braj are the Ashraya of Madhura-rasa, right? Ashraya Lamban. These gopis are Nayakas. Nayakas are divided to 2 types, Swakiya and Parakiya. In Braj, the Parakiya Nayaks, the unmarried Nayakas, are the Ashraya of Sringaras. There are 3 types, Sadanpada, Devi and Nityapriya. Right, can remember. The damsels of Braj divide into groups in which they serve Krishna. And millions of lovely gopis are subordinate to one of the many Yuteshwaris, the group leaders. Amongst all the Yuteshwaris, Radha and Chandravali are prominent. In Sri Radhika's group, okay, here it is, there are 5 kinds of Sakhis. Sakhi, Nitya Sakhi, Pran Sakhi, Priya Sakhi and Paramprashta Sakhi. Although the Paramprashta Sakhis like Lalita and Vishaka, who are known as Astasakis, are qualified to be Yuteshwaris, they do not create separate group because they desire to remain the followers of Sri Radha. The Sakhis under their guidance are collectively called their Gan, for example Lalita Gan and Vishaka Gan. The Nayakas are divided to 3 types, Mugdha, Madhya and Pragalbha. Right? Pragalbha means bold, Mugdha means soft, sweet speaking, and Madhya means intermediately. God, I've forgotten English. Situated, that is like Radhika. She has the qualities of both. She is Madhya Nayak. And of these, the Madhya and Pragalbha have 3 further divisions, Dhira, Adhira, and Dhira. Okay, so 7. So all the Nayakas divided to 2 groups, Swakiya, and Parakya. Right? So the Swakya and Parakya have also two more groups that is called, right, hang on. All those, right, Swakya and Parakya, each of them are divided into three, Mugdha, Madhura and Pragalpa. The Madhura Pragalpa have also other divisions, three more divisions of Dhira, Adhira and Dhira, therefore that is 7. So Swakya have 7 groups of gopis. Parakya also have 7, plus 1 more in each for the Kanyas, the unmarried girls, who are only one category of Mugdha, therefore 15 different types of gopis. Right? Each of these nayakas performs the 8 activities. Right? So 15 times 8 conditions, that's called avastas. 15 times 8 is what? 15 times 8. 120. Right? Yes, thank you. So, and all of these have 3 more divisions, Uttam, Madhyam, and Kanishta, for a total of 360 types of gopis. Okay? So the 6 categories plus Mugdha make 7 categories in all, which are divided into 2 types, Swakya and Parakya, to make 14 types in all. The category of unmarried Nayaka, the Kanya, is added to these 14 to make a total of 15 categories of Nayaka. These 15 types of Nayakas have the 8 conditions, avastas, beginning with Abhisaraka. We heard that. So 15 times 8 plus all of these categories are divided again into Uttam, Madhyam and Kanishta to make a sum total of 360 types of Nayakas. The distinct type of behavior of the Yuteshwaris, such as well as their purposes, have awoken within my heart, right? The 4 types, Surit, Swapaksh, Vipaksh and Tatastha. All of these have awoken in regards to one's own group. Okay, I've understood the duties of the Sakhis, the 16 services that the Sakhis rendered to the Yuteshwari, as well as the different messages the gopis have. Remember, that is by bodily, what did they call it? Sankets, by bodily gestures is one type of message, as well as by direct and indirect speech. I have learned all these topics. I have an understanding of the Asray Tattva of Ras. Combining this with the details of Visay Tattva of Ras, I have understood Alamban Tattva, which is included within Vaibhav. Tomorrow I will learn about Udipan, because Vibhav, Alamban have two sections. Vibhav, Alamban Vibhav have 2 divisions, Alamban and Udipan. So Vibhav Alamban we're discussing, and tomorrow he will hear about Udipan Alamban. Tomorrow I will hear about Udipan. Krishna has shown me unlimited kindness by giving the association of a Sadguru such as yourself. My only nourishment is hearing this liquid nectar of Katha. Gopal Guru Goswami embraced his disciple. My dear son, I have become successful by attaining a disciple like you. As you make more inquiries, Nityananda himself is speaking through me. Gopal Guru Goswami is in Madhura-rasa, but still Nityananda speaks through him, no? Okay. Tears of prema began to pour from the eyes of the Guru and disciple. When the other sadhus, such as Jan Chandra, saw the sentiments, they saw Vijay's good fortune, they become immersed in happiness. Just then some other Vaishnavas came and they sang a song by Chandidas. They sang this song for an hour and a half. Sai Keba Sunala Shamanam, famous song. So anyway, I think everyone can get an idea who's patiently following all these classes. So let's see, probably Sunday morning, or just keep in touch Sunday morning, I think. We'll hear chapter 35. Actually, maybe we should. Maybe how about tomorrow morning? Tomorrow morning we'll do chapter 35. Otherwise, we're not going to finish this before Purushotta month, no? I hate commitment. We're just committed. Okay, let's see. Probably tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, let's do Udipan. Otherwise, we won't finish this all before Purushotta month. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone, very much. I'll try and work out my computer again. But if this phone quality is okay, we can just keep doing it on my phone. Go Premanandi. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ramo. Hare Ramo. Ramo Ramo. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ramo. Hare Ramo. Ramo Ramo. Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari. Can I just ask one question? Is it better quality on the phone or is it better quality on the laptop? Okay, everyone's saying phone is good. Someone lent me a Apple phone and it seems to be working nicely. Someone asked the question, what is pranay? Pranay means love, simple, love. But all this we'll hear actually in chapter 36, chapter 37, the divisions of rati. Okay, so maybe I'll just keep it on the phone, no? Thank you very much. Jai Shri Radha.